The superlative, first superlative win for Florida Atlantic in Conference USA since they joined the conference back in 2011. Florida Atlantic in the all-whites, UAB in the all-green. It's the 13th all-time meeting between the two. UAB leads the all-time series 10-2. UAB with their win over UTSA yesterday, and defensively they are unable to get back, and Florida Atlantic strikes first and gets on the board with the quick two. FAU looking for their first Conference USA tournament win in program history. 0-6 in their tries, now under Coach Jim Jaber. UAB, who likes to put it up beyond the arc, will do so just that for their first bucket. The freshman Lindsay Dullard hits from beyond the arc.
She was a new addition to the starting lineup yesterday for the Blazers, and today the Blazers start the same five. Florida Atlantic also starting the same five that they did as their previous game when they lost to Charlotte.
UAB at the end of the first quarter yesterday led UTSA 27-9. Really the final three quarters went back and forth with the Roadrunners, but that initial burst allows the Blazers as the 6th seed to take down the 7th seed, as this try from Alexis Zaff is off the mark. UAB, a team that rebounds exceptionally well. We mentioned Weathersby a couple moments ago. She's a big piece of that, but they are lighting it up from beyond the arc as this one's off the mark and no good as Iggy Allen reels in the rebound. She'll take it coast to coast for the easy bucket. 4 points already for Iggy Allen, averaging over 22 points per game in her 20 starts this season. And really, if she wants something, Chris, she's going to end up getting it.
Grad transfer from Miami, incredibly impressive. We're only 2 minutes deep into this ball game, but I am looking forward to seeing what she has in store with us over the course of the next 32 minutes. Or my math is bad. 38 minutes left in this game, Kyle.
We're getting there, right? There's a look at her numbers at Miami. That was her initial career mark. 12 games, just the one from beyond the arc. And then from downtown here at FAU, well, it's kind of hard to beat the 49 threes that she has hit. But she doesn't just hit from the perimeter. She's able to drive. She's able to kick. She does a lot of things well.
New home and just a new energy for her. It's amazing what that can happen to transfer players when they have a place where they really have an environment and a coaching style that works for them. Allen has just gone off since arriving here with the Owls.
And that's a big credit to Jim Jaber in his 4th year as the head coach for Florida Atlantic, one of the nation's most experienced coaches. Over 500 career wins as he's sitting at 5-12 entering the tournament here in Frisco. Tight feed down low, knocked away. Here goes Allen in transition, has an outlet pass, takes it. And Florida Atlantic can't get it in transition. Instead, it's Gaye from beyond the arc. And that one is knocked down. Just her 9th triple of the season. And Florida Atlantic has opened up a 4-point lead early.
We talk a lot about Florida Atlantic's international presence. Gaye, a big deal for Team France over the years. Helped them win gold in the U18 European Championships back in 2018.
6'2" senior. Transferred from Gulf Coast State, and she has found a home at Florida Atlantic. And there's where Maddie Walsh found a home yesterday, beyond the arc, where she had a career day, 14 points, and she has her first triple of the afternoon.
From the French student athlete to the Wisconsinite.
Halfway across the world. Meeting here in Frisco as Iggy Allen drives in, and that one just up and over the rim. The rebound goes to Dullard. UAB slowing things down here. They've already put up a good amount of shots from beyond the arc. 2 of 4 here in the opening minutes. Where they separated themselves yesterday against the Roadrunners. Underneath, though, here's Weathersby, and that's going to be a physical battle. Astou Gaye, along with Zakiya Weathersby, and each of those big bodies, each at 6'2" frames, there's going to be a lot of collision between the two.
Watching that game yesterday as UAB beat UTSA, seeing what Weathersby can be, I cannot imagine the conversations that were happening among the FAU coaches. How in the world do we contain this player, especially when it comes to down low? She is a force, and if she turns it on like she did yesterday against the Roadrunners, UAB will have a great chance of pulling an upset.
Best rebounder in the conference. One of the best at field goals as well. Stays efficient throughout her career. Good free throw shooter as well, though she does only hit one of her 2. And we're all knotted up here at 7 after about 4 minutes of game action. Rita Pleskovich has checked in for the first time for the Owls. Same thing with Amber Gaston, who is on the low block, and she's called for the travel. There's Coach Randy Norton in his 8th year at UAB, 2017-18 Conference USA Coach of the Year, having to deal with the youngest roster in the conference, youngest starting 5 as well. 3 freshmen started in each of the first 2 conference games so far.
Last season, he led the Blazers to their 3rd straight 20-win season. They dropped the first-round game in the Conference USA tournament to Louisiana Tech, expected to play in a national postseason tournament for a 3rd consecutive season, but of course, those tournaments were ultimately canceled.
There's Weathersby underneath on the bucket. Got it knocked away as she knocks this out of bounds. Another block, and we mentioned the rebounding, we mentioned the blocking ability. 3rd in the conference in blocks per game. Not going to get anywhere near this one, though, as Sophia Gallerone has her first bucket.
Gallerone, 10 points, 5 rebounds, and I mentioned that because FAU out-rebounded Charlotte by 15 in that regular season finale. That will be a big key for the Owls today. And again, trying to do it against a force down low like Weathersby.
It's the freshman Daniels up on the perimeter. Works it back around. Margaret Whitley, the leading 3-point shooter in Conference USA, off the mark for her first attempt. On the drive. Beck lost it, got it back, and was able to finish with the nice easy bucket. Whitley on the drive from the baseline. They kick back around the perimeter to Dullard. He's already hit 1, can't hit that time. A blistering pace between the 2 squads already. As on the baseline, the nice easy pull-up. And Pleskovich has her first points.
Coming off a double-digit performance against the 49ers.
12 points, 2 rebounds, and a trio of assists. Wide open look for Dullard. That is not a perimeter shooter you really want to leave open. She's not going to miss those a ton, but can't get that one to rattle home. 4-point lead for FAU. This one off the front iron and out. Then a travel called as LaMiracle Sims falls to the floor. Back and forth we go early on. An easy bucket from Gallerone. Florida Atlantic up by 4.
Who give back to their communities. We're committed to excellence. We are stronger together. That's the CUSA way.
The 2021 Air Force Reserve Conference USA Basketball Championships, presented by Baylor Scott & White Health, are brought to you by Air Force Reserve. Early 3-point lead for Florida Atlantic, 13-9. And Chris, Florida Atlantic in their first game of the Conference USA Championships. UAB already having played a game, but Florida Atlantic with an early lead. They add to it here. Experience plays a big factor in getting going after a little bit of time off.
Coming into the season, every single player on the Owls roster had previous NCAA experience. No true freshmen. And you also see room to grow. The future is really bright for the Owls. 7 of the 15 players are underclassmen.
There's experience, and at least this year, there's been some success. Iggy Allen has checked back in. As this 3-point try goes off the iron and out. Florida Atlantic on an 8-0 run at the moment. Allen trying to add to that. This one goes off and to the right, where LaMiracle Sims pulls down the carom. Daniels in transition, taking it coast to coast, high off the glass. High difficulty shot for Caitlin Daniels, but it hits the bottom of the net.
We were amazed by her yesterday and the fact that she is just a freshman. A great court presence. One of the best to ever do it in Iowa girls basketball, where that is always somewhere where fantastic players emerge.
Long 2 knocked down by Amber Gaston. 19-footer. Under 2:45 to play here in this first period of action. UAB, who put up 27 points in the first quarter yesterday, just held to 11 at the moment. The perimeter shot has not been there efficiently. They hit 2 early three-pointers. They'll try it again. Daniels, high arcing look, and it's short.
See the look on Daniels' face. She comes back down to the floor, really just frustrated, trying to figure out what is wrong with her stroke right now. Certainly not feeling like it's all there.
UAB 2 of 10 from downtown. Florida Atlantic hitting 50% from the field at the moment. They've hit 5 of their last 7. Whereas that same amount of shots for UAB, they've only made 1. 2:16 left. A couple substitutions here for Florida Atlantic as Zaff checks back in. Winner of this one has UTEP on the docket tomorrow. 2:30 p.m. Central Time tip-off for that one. There's a long 3, and that one's short as well. It'll trickle out on the baseline. UAB now just 2 of 11 from downtown. That's something that wasn't the struggle yesterday for the Blazers, at least early on in that game. And then as the game went along, they continued to be hot. 10 three-pointers yesterday as they were 36% from downtown. Galarone dishes underneath. And a wide open look for Astou Gaye.
Maddie Walsh flew in there thinking for a brief moment in time she was going to be able to knock the ball loose and go coast to coast for the 2. Instead, it's another pair for the Owls.
Here's Weathersby trying to split a couple Owl defenders. Knocked away, and here goes Florida Atlantic the other way. Up by 7 already.
Early on, have to be impressed by what the Owls have done to minimize Weathersby's impact.
Huge credit to Astou Gaye underneath. We mentioned how that is going to be a battle. She has done really nice work on the post so far. UAB has no rhythm, and they turn it over again. No rhythm for UAB, whereas Florida Atlantic, Chris, has had a nice job of sharing the basketball.
Moving the ball well, already 6 assists on the day compared to 2 for UAB. Getting it down low and firing it to the outside, allowing for some penetration. Quick movement, and that one finished off by Astou Gaye.
Got to be crafty sometimes when you have a post presence like Weathersby. Another nice pass. This time, Allen can't get it the first time, but she rips her own rebound down with one arm, and the putback falls. 10-point lead for Florida Atlantic, and a block going the other way.
Sometimes when you remove your star player, give her a little bit of a rest, you have a lull and some problems. Florida Atlantic, though, was able to stand strong with Allen on the bench, and now with her back in, they look to increase that lead.
Florida Atlantic looking crisp early on in this one. Here's Weathersby. High contact, and that time it wasn't Astou Gaye underneath. It was Rosentali who stood strong against the 6'2 frame. She drives in this time, gets her own rebound, and the putback is off the mark. 15.6 ticks remaining here in the first quarter. It'll go back to the Blazers.
We knew it couldn't just be a one-person effort down low against Weathersby. For Rosentali to get in on the action too, both of those quality post players giving Weathersby some problems. UAB will have to find an answer.
On the drive for the final shot of the half, all the way back out. Long 3 is just off the mark for Margaret Whitley. She had an open look, but once again, UAB just cannot hit. Time of the year, March Madness in full swing. And the women's Final Four down in San Antonio, about 3.5 hours from where we are here in Frisco. Kyle Yeomans alongside Chris Bykowski. Plenty of tickets still to be punched throughout the women's college basketball field. Plenty have already been punched, and we'll talk about those coming up here in just a moment. Florida Atlantic, the 3 seed out of the East, with a massive first quarter, ending on a 14-2 run to take this 10-point advantage over the Blazers. And UAB just has not had a rhythm at all on offense, and got to get her going, and that's Zakiya Weathersby, her first field goal of the afternoon.
A rare opportunity where Weathersby did not have anybody on her. Florida Atlantic collapsed on her defensively, but it was a little too late. Weathersby with a clean shot and able to put in to pull her team within 8.
Offensive rebounding has gone in favor of Florida Atlantic till this point as well. Second chance opportunities. Weathersby smothered underneath the bucket and a foul called on Iggy Allen. Let's take a look at those tickets punched already in the women's game. Look outside the Ford Center. Got some of the national powers like Stanford, South Carolina, of course, UConn and the Huskies. Gonzaga with a tight-knitted win over BYU to win the West Coast Conference. And still more to be punched, even one tonight as the Mountain West Conference. Wyoming and Fresno getting underway here in just a matter of hours, Chris. And
neither of them expected to get into the championship round in the Mountain West, and now an opportunity to go dancing.
Back-to-back free throws from Weathersby.
And they need Weathersby to start pulling down some boards. None yet after 20 yesterday.
Wow. That is uncharacteristic as it gets for this UAB Blazers squad. Long three, looks good out of the hand, no good. Another offensive rebound for Florida Atlantic, and they go back up by 8.
Really smart basketball from Gallerone, able to read that ball coming off the rim, came around on the backside for the putback.
Blazers 2 of 11 in that first quarter from beyond the arc. Looked like they weren't having success getting to the low block. Instead, they wanted to take the three-point tries. Put up 11 shots in one quarter, only got 2 to fall, and even with the volume shooting, just didn't seem like they could really hit anything. Here's Allen carving her way underneath, and she picked up the dribble. It'll go back to the Blazers. Iggy Allen is just lightning in a bottle, isn't she? Has that speed, the elusiveness. 13th nationally in points per game. She's 15th in defensive rebounds per game. Mentioned off the top, she's the Conference USA Newcomer of the Year. Florida Atlantic and the Owls certainly happy to have her. Weathersby has some space underneath. A beautiful feed opened her up to the basket. She converted with the foul.
That's one way to get her going. Put it over the top of the defense and finds an open look at the basket. Great work by Margaret Whitley. Just have to have a perfect touch in that situation.
Whitley, one of the most effective shooters in Conference USA. Randy Norton loves that on the UAB sideline, and Weathersby converts. All of a sudden, she's got 8 points after only having 1 point at the end of the first quarter. Little extra effort here from this UAB squad. Little fight from the Blazers. This one's short, bounced around, offensive rebound. Owls back up top to Zaff. That three-point try no good. Offensive rebound again. It's a broken record. Florida Atlantic just battling on the boards against the best rebounding team in the conference.
Leading the rebounding battle 20-12 at this point. Certainly unexpected. And for Allen to get in on the action, the 5'11" guard, height doesn't matter. It's the fight in picking up those rebounds.
Florida Atlantic concluding their regular season, having their 3-game win streak snapped at Charlotte. 83-73 was the final. FAU hit 11 three-pointers. A lot of those coming from Iggy Allen, who had 17 points and 9 rebounds. So her rebounding is certainly there, Chris.
Just 1 3-pointer for the Owls thus far. So if they can get that going from distance, they can really create some separation from the Blazers.
Doesn't take long for Florida Atlantic to heat up. Each team shooting underneath 20% from downtown. Knocked away. Daniels keeping things active with the hands, and she'll get called for the foul. Came around with the right arm and just barely made some contact. She had poked that ball away a couple of times.
And Astou Gaye re-enters the ball game for Florida Atlantic. It's not just her prowess in the 5-on-5 game. The 3-on-3 game in international basketball has really taken off and she won a gold medal for France in the World Championships in under 18 3-on-3.
You look at some of these international prospects that made their way to Florida Atlantic. 5 Owls had the chance to play for their respective country in the 2019 European Championships. So they have that international flair, and Brooke Jaber really loves some of the different cultures and different type of players that are brought in to this Owls program. Another three-point opportunity. This one's for Sam Mitchell. Offensive rebound. Weathersby, if she can keep it in bounds, has to go back up top as the shot clock resets for UAB. Plenty of time still. This one's from downtown. Whitley off the mark, and the Blazers get it back. Back-to-back offensive boards. Finally, the Blazers able to take advantage of rebounding. Whitley's feed just out of reach. Had a nice idea and had an open teammate down low, but Rosenfeld couldn't reel it in.
After all that hard work to keep possession, an errant pass over the top of Sarah Rosenfeld. By the way, in that sequence, Weathersby finally gets rebound number 1.
It's crazy talking about rebound number 1 for the best rebounding individual in Conference USA. There's rebound number 2. But it took her almost a quarter and a half to get the first one. Florida Atlantic all of a sudden with a dry spell. UAB trying to climb back in at Sam Mitchell. She has her first bucket, 32% three-point shooter on the year. It's the business park here just north of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Got ourselves a 4-point game. Florida Atlantic, the 3 seed against the 6-seeded UAB Blazers. Thanks for joining us here on ESPN+. Kyle Yeomans, Chris Mykowski.
We pointed that direction a little bit further away, the Comerica Center, which will host, along with the Super Pit in Denton, the men's NIT this season.
Lots of basketball still to be had in the Lone Star State. Talked about Central Texas hosting the women's NCAA tournament. The NIT coming to North Texas. UAB, Sam Mitchell just off of her first three-point make, who brought the Blazers back within 4. As much as Florida Atlantic has dominated this game, Chris, the fact that UAB is within a couple of possessions has to feel good for the Blazers at the moment.
Well, the Owls have gone cold in this quarter. Just 1 field goal for FAU through the first 5 minutes.
That was an off-balance shot from Sarah Rosenfeld that falls for 2. Her first make. Averages just over 4 points per game, a key contributor from last season, but not necessarily a scoring threat like she was there. And that's the first bucket for Florida Atlantic in almost 3 whole minutes of game action. Sophia Gallerone breaks the drought. 4.5 to play in the half. So thought about the 3. Once again, the double team on Weathersby. She's been quiet after a spurt of 7 straight points on her end this quarter. They're going to give her that open shot on the perimeter. Now she drives in, backs off of a defender, tries to kiss it off the glass, and it's no good. Here goes Florida Atlantic following the rebound.
For a split second back there, I thought Weathersby might try her first three-pointer of the season. She looked at it.
She probably thought about it. Gallerone trying to keep the hot hand alive, and the rebound goes to Rosenfeld. It is March. It's certainly the time for odd instances to happen.
They need to get Whitley involved here. 0 for 5 from the floor. No points. She has to contribute. She had 9 yesterday.
13th in the conference in field goal percentage. Here's Weathersby. Awkward looking shot from the baseline. Allen with the rebound, and now she'll drive coast to coast. Caught in transition by that UAB defense, but the assist to Astou Gaye, her second three-pointer of the day.
Just beyond the arc, got it to fall from the right wing.
Third triple for Florida Atlantic. Second from Astou Gaye. Here's Whitley. Mitchell thought about the drive. Whitley from the free throw stripe, rattles around, off the mark. Rosenfeld trying to save that ball on the baseline. However, it does go out of play. Taking a look at the last two buckets here for Florida Atlantic.
Well, for the Owls, Astou Gaye will hit from the right wing. She has the only 2 3-pointers that the Owls have scored today. On the other side, Whitley still scoreless. She's 0 for 6 from the field. She is the team leader with 19.2 points per game.
Florida Atlantic with 8 second chance points. That offensive rebounding has gone in their favor so far. UAB has not had a single second chance point. Allen's 3 off the mark. It trickles out on the baseline. 2020 Conference USA Baseball Championship heads to Ruston, Louisiana, the brand new J.C. Love Field at Pat Patterson Park, May 26th through the 30th. Live coverage will be available right here on ESPN+. Visit conferenceusa.com for more information. Beautiful brand new ballpark down there in Louisiana. I know you have been accustomed to that area, Mr. Mikoski.
I am used to spending my days at the old Love Shack and been driving past the new one when I've done some Conference USA basketball broadcasts at the Thomas Assembly Center, watching the construction over the course of the past year. A gorgeous place. It is open now, and the home team, by the way, Lane Burroughs Bulldogs, are playing very well early on. They may have a great advantage there when the tournament arrives.
Coach Burrow has really brought that program to new heights over the last couple of years. Long 3 again, no good from UAB, and all of a sudden Florida Atlantic has built their lead back up to 9. Miracle Sims off the bench, grabs another rebound. The largest lead for the Owls was 10, and that was at the end of the first quarter. UAB had fought all the way back to make it a 4-point game. Wide open 3-point try, and just nothing falling. Lindsey Dullard, who opened the scoring for the Blazers, can't get that one. Open look on the other end. Bree back is short. Maggie Allen again, offensive rebound. That has been the go-to for Florida Atlantic, 9-5 in that category.
Look at the starters for UAB right now and how much they are struggling. The 3 that are on the floor. Walsh is 1 for 4 from the field. Dullard 1 for 5. Whitley 0 for 6. Remember, Whitley went 1 for 9 yesterday. That was the first time since March 11th of last year, the final game of the season, that she was held to just a single field goal. And yet the Blazers were able to come out on top despite her only putting in that 1 bucket.
There you see the leading scorers in the conference. Whitley right there in 4th. Maggie Allen at the free throw line at the moment. Sitting there in 2nd place in the conference. She rattles that one home. She's got a 10-point game already.
Anastasia Hayes and those Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders, they don't start their tournament experience until tomorrow. They'll meet the winner of Louisiana Tech and Marshall.
Whitley into the corner. Mitchell already 1-3. 2 her total. She hits another one. And when the shooting doesn't go your way for UAB, they have found it in Sam Mitchell.
Finally ending a 9-0 run that Florida Atlantic was on.
Got a 2.5-minute scoring drought for the Blazers. And there's Allen making it look easy. Stepping right up, and she's got 12 points. 21st time this year she's had double digits. 12 points, 8 rebounds for the Conference USA Newcomer of the Year. And about a 2-second difference between shot clock and game clock as UAB holds on down by 10. Allen has been so good defensively on Whitley. 7 to shoot, knocked away. Florida Atlantic can't hold on to it, and it goes out of bounds on the near sideline. 5 seconds on the clock, 3 on the shot clock.
Not something Weathersby was expecting. Allen really came in there quickly to get in and disrupt that pass.
Wide open look to Whitley, but it's blocked. Out of nowhere comes Gallerone. all the way into the backcourt, and the buzzer will go off. It looked like Margaret Whitley would have had an opportunity for a shot, and all of a sudden, Sophia Gallerone comes out of nowhere. Whitley held scoreless in the first half.
0 for 7 in the
for ESPN Plus. Welcomes you to the second half of this first round bout. Florida Atlantic will start with the possession. As Alexis Zaff brings it in, and quickly they already work it down low to Gaye, and then Allen's going to pull up from the mid-range off the back iron. No good, but the offensive rebound can't be grabbed by Florida Atlantic.
From about 50 yards where we sit right now over on Court A, they've gone to the fourth quarter. Louisiana Tech leading Marshall 38-32. Anna Law Robertson for the Lady Texters, 19 points and 12 rebounds.
Winner of that game has Middle Tennessee and the Hayes sisters on the docket for their second round matchup. Weathersby has her first bucket here of the second half. Up to 10 points now for her already, as this one just barely hangs on the rim and out. Weathersby, third time here in the last couple of games that she has had double-digit efforts. The pass goes awry out on the baseline.
UAB trying to claw its way back into this ball game. Caitlin Daniels feeds Weathersby. They were a great combination yesterday as UAB knocked off the UTSA Roadrunners. Now within 8 of Florida Atlantic.
Big rebound for Weathersby off of the miss. This is the type of trips down the floor that the Blazers need to take advantage of. They don't need the three. They shot 18 from beyond the arc in the first half. Only got 4 to fall, so you don't need to force things from deep, but you got to take advantage when you have a defensive stop. Whitley looking for her first bucket, and that one no good. She continues to struggle, 0 of 8 from the field, but she gets back down on defense. Iggy Allen stepping out on the baseline as she went to the floor for the loose ball.
Whitley trying to just find some confidence in the stroke, and it doesn't come there. Off the back iron, the clank, certainly the noise that will haunt her dreams tonight before they head back to Birmingham.
Now, Chris, do you think whenever you have a shooter like Whitley who has that touch, has that confidence from a career perspective, do you try and get her to shoot more and get that confidence back, or do you play it safe and just say it's not your day?
I think she just has to keep shooting. She's eventually going to find that stroke. Like you said, she's done it throughout her entire career at UAB. Even going back to high school, she holds the state record in Illinois for three-point baskets made. She is one of the best to ever do it in that state, and obviously has done a fantastic job at UAB. They have to keep giving her chances. If you lose with that strategy, that's just the way it has to be. But you cannot go away from something that's worked for you all season long.
She's had double digits in just one of her last 5 outings after having at least 10 points in each of the first 18 games of the year. So it's not just today where she hasn't found the stroke. They need to get her going if they're going to get back in this against Florida Atlantic.
Well, that's part of the struggles they had down the stretch. Blazers actually lost 9 of their last 10 in conference play. Had to get some kind of a good feeling heading into the tournament. They played a non-conference game against Fort Valley State and won that one big and hoped that would carry over here to Frisco.
In and out, Dullard's three-point try is off the mark. Neither team really with any kind of rhythm here in this second period. Just a 1-2-point bucket from UAB. That's the only scoring we've seen. We're past the 3-minute into this third quarter mark. Allen on the drive, fancy move, found her way open, got the offensive board again, and she is fouled. She'll head to the charity stripe for a pair.
Now, really solid work getting around Maddie Walsh. Couldn't end up getting it to fall, but still gets to the free throw line. You got to love everything about Iggy Allen's game. I have yet to find much of a fault. The hustle, and obviously she's not making everything she throws up, but she takes a lot of opportunities, finds her way to the rock so often, and a volume shooter. She will get her points.
It's the first of two, a 67% shooter from the stripe. Newcomer of the year in the conference. First superlative award for Florida Atlantic since they joined Conference USA. And the first since they had a superlative in 2011. So it's been quite some time since the Owls have had success from an individual quite like Iggy Allen has done. 22 points per game, 11 rebounds. And she is 1 rebound away from another double-double.
That was
knocked away, too.
That was a major accomplishment for Florida Atlantic to earn that award, which comes from other coaches in the league that respect that Allen has gained and earned those votes and forces it back towards the UAB bench. Clearly the number one thing that FAU wants to see today, another conference first, would be their first CUSA tournament win. 0-6 over the course of their trips to the postseason. And finally, Whitley gets one to fall.
1 for 9 now from beyond the arc. Or excuse me, 1 of 7 from beyond the arc, 1 of 9 from the field. But that's all that UAB has really been looking for. They needed her to find the bottom of the net desperately. And a contested 3 at that. Had Rita Pleskovich with a hand in the face. There's her numbers on the season. Over 3 3-pointers a game in the regular season. Only had 1 yesterday. Has her first today, but she still leads the conference in both of those categories, and 11th in D1 basketball at the moment. Another rebound from Allen, and she has the putback as well. 15 points for Iggy Allen and make it a double-double.
10th rebound, and she puts in the deuce. And now she gets another rebound on the other end. There is no slowdown in her game.
She's got a bit of swagger as well, though she does throw this one to Whitley. Back to a 10-point lead for the Owls. Whitley on the baseline, driving, and that one knocked away. Rosentali snags it in transition, goes all the way, but she is going to be called for the double dribble. Iggy Allen. You talk about the fight, Chris. You see it again off of the rebound.
Yeah, keeping that foot on the gas pedal, getting it down low with the putback. She looks a little bit tired at this point. I was somewhat expecting Coach Jaber to give her a little bit of a rest, and maybe we get it right here with a sub waiting at the scorer's table.
He has played significant minutes all season long. She's the best player on the floor a lot of the time. Another 3-point try from Whitley. But an offensive rebound goes to Sarah Rosenfeld. Whitley again, this time off the balance, again off the mark. Weathersby with an offensive rebound. UAB catching up in that category on this trip down the floor. However, Florida Atlantic still holds a double-digit lead. The 2020 Air Force Reserve Conference USA Basketball Championships are brought to you by Air Force Reserve.
Right there and get some good pizza.
Yeah, a little Cane Russo. I don't know if we're allowed to say that. They're not necessarily a sponsor, but they are across the street. Still great pizza. Really is a fun atmosphere at this facility around the headquarters of the Dallas Cowboys. There's a big block from Rosenfeld on the low block. UAB gave it up in transition. Florida Atlantic trying to make them pay. Rosenfeld has come off the bench and played quality minutes for Coach Norton.
You saw right there a moment ago how long it's been since FAU has had postseason success. If they can make a run to win a Conference USA tournament title, it would be the first time they've reached the NCAA tournament since 2006 when they won the Atlantic Sun.
0-6 in games in the Conference USA tournament. Their last win in a conference tournament Came in 2012 in the Sun Belt. They had a 56-55 tight win over North Texas, who, of course, joined the Conference USA as well. Played on this court in the early game. Daniels on the drive, off the glass, off balance shot, and that one is in for the freshman. Seen a couple of those from Daniels. She is going to be exciting to watch. The prospect out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
One of many players with Midwest ties on this ball club. You might not expect it for a university in Birmingham, Alabama, but it's all about the head coach. Randy Norton is a Chicago guy, has so many ties to coaches in that Midwest area, and he goes back to that well over and over again. And as with so many other things, college basketball recruiting is about those relationships, and he has developed some incredible ones in that region.
He has found a pipeline from the Chicago area, played collegiate baseball at Iowa, former Hawkeye. High arcing three-point shot goes off the backboard and down into the hands of Amber Gaston, and she puts it back up and in for her second bucket.
That was the key point we heard about Gaston from the FAU staff before this game, that she is fantastic with the putbacks, and she gets it done right there, the junior from Vicksburg, Mississippi.
Started each of the last two games, both against Charlotte in place of Astou Gaye. She's usually the first one off of the bench. Impressive scoring ability, even though she only had 4 points in those two starts. Had a season high against Southern Miss earlier in the season. There's Whitley with her second three as she's starting to find a rhythm. It's yet to see, but it brings UAB back within 7. You mentioned it at halftime, Chris. If you can get her going, all of a sudden UAB has a chance here. Sam Mitchell, Whitley. Thought about pulling up from the three again. Gallerone, who had a big shot block on Whitley at the end of the first half, was just lurking, and Whitley instead tried to pass it away. The pass from Weathersby goes out on the baseline. 2:51 left here in the third quarter. The largest lead for Florida Atlantic was 11. But UAB sticking around here. The second half, haven't gone away, though they've struggled to hit from the field. 30% total on the game, 24% from beyond the arc.
Well, FAU's lead has started to evaporate thanks in part to defensive miscues. That's their 4th turnover of the quarter, plus unable to get many good shots up. 2 of 11 from the field during this period.
Florida Atlantic has been stifling defensively. There really hasn't been open looks for UAB. They have had to work for every opportunity. Weathersby worked for that offensive board, puts it up and in. 12 points for Weathersby, and it's a 5-point game.
Her 5th rebound of the day, nowhere near her immense total of 20 yesterday, but still starting to get things going on the boards. They kept her away from the ball in the first half.
This one ripped away by Sarah Rosenfeld, and UAB has life here in the third. Blazers slowing it down. They like to work out of that half-court set. Whitley, guarded by Zaff, up at the top of the key. Works around the defender. Rosenfeld setting the screen. 3 to shoot on the shot clock. Drive in, split of the defender, off the back iron. Not a great look for Daniels, but she almost made it fall. In the corner, Zaff for 3. That one's short. Closing in on a minute to play here in the third. Here's Sam Mitchell sizing up Zaff. Whitley looking for the screen. 7 to shoot again. Whitley steps back. That's a 2. It's short. Weathersby with the rebound, and she puts it back in. The Blazers are within a possession. Zaff wide open look, and she'll knock that down the majority of the time.
That ends a 7-0 run for the Blazers over the last 2 minutes and 38 seconds.
3-second difference, shot clock, game clock. UAB going to kill as much of it as they can. Trying to keep this at a one-possession deficit heading into the final frame. Into the corner, wide open, Sam Mitchell, her third triple of the evening. She has 9. Florida Atlantic on the return, taking it all the way to the hoop as the buzzer sounds. Alexa Zaff ends a bit of the UAB momentum, and we have got ourselves.
At this point, it gives UAB some hope to only be down by 4 as we enter the final 10 minutes. I think you tell the Blazers that off the top of the game, they would have been happy with that plan.
Now Whitley, who had found a couple of shots from beyond the arc, guarded again by Iggy Allen. She's found on her way to the hoop. Whitley, it took her almost 3.5 quarters to finally hit one from downtown. She's now hit 2 in the game. But really all of UAB's perimeter presence has come from Sam Mitchell. Mitchell, the sophomore out of Illinois, averages just over 5 points a game. Well, she has 9, and she's hit a couple of clutch threes here in the second half. 1 of 2 from the line for Whitley. And it's back to a 3-point game. Florida Atlantic, UAB on court B here at the Conference USA Championships. Close game over on court A as well. So we take a look after this Gaye shot from beyond the arc. And Florida Atlantic back up by 6, but Marshall leading by 3, 48-45 over Louisiana Tech in the closing moments of that one. And the winner of that matchup has a date with the Hayes sisters and Middle Tennessee. 2 p.m. Central Time tip-off for that one tomorrow.
Lady Texters pull within 1, just 30 seconds to go. Our friends Ron Thulin and Colin Boddicker have the call on ESPN+. Great performance by Savannah Wheeler from Marshall today. 17 points to lead the Thundering Herd. Anna-Laura Robertson with 21 for Lady Texters.
It has been a back-and-forth battle for that one. The largest lead in that game was Marshall, who had a 10-point advantage. Florida Atlantic and UAB trading buckets here, and now FAU has climbed back out to an 8-point lead with the 3 from Gaye, and then Iggy Allen with the lay-in easily on her side. Here's Whitley from distance. And you can see the excitement after that one, a little pump of the fist. She's got 10 points and has now hit 3 triples. If UAB is going to really take advantage of the perimeter game, she's going to have to lead the charge. She has done that so far in the second half. Gaye on the baseline, up over Weathersby, and that one drops.
Gaye has been incredibly effective. 6 of 8 from the field, 15 points. Only Allen has more points. She has 18. With her, though, it's been, again, volume shooting. 6 of 18 as opposed to Gaye's 6 for 8.
Gaye has been about as effective as possible. Back around, Whitley looking for her 4th, and it does rattle around and fall. UAB in the sideline waited forever to explode on that.
0.2 points per game. She's actually creeping up near that mark right now with 13 second half points. Only 6 away from getting close to her season average, which, again, you talked about it. It's not just today. It's not just yesterday. She's had some trouble over the last couple of weeks. A big part why UAB had a slow end to the season. Had a really hard time getting things going over the last few weeks.
Just the second double-digit game that she has had in the past 5 outings. After doing double-digit scoring in her first 18 appearances of 2020 and 2021. bona fide scorer, and she has found a rhythm and may continue feeding the hot hand should she find herself open. She's going to be closely guarded by Allen, but she does rip this one from deep off the mark. Initially, Allen fights for the rebound.
Allen gave her a little bit of space, and she took advantage of it.
Allen straight away from beyond the arc, wide open. And then a foul underneath after the miss. You're not going to see Iggy Allen miss shots like that, where she had an open look at the hoop. The 2021 Conference USA Softball Championships will take place May 12th through the 15th in Bowling Green, Kentucky, hosted by Western Kentucky University. Live coverage will be right here on ESPN+. Visit conferenceusa.com for more information.
We saw Allen punch herself a couple of times after missing that wide open three. It's almost a situation where you have a little too much time to think about a shot. She was so open and eventually ended up missing and was really, really frustrated not to hit that look.
Whitley bringing it back past the half-court logo. Daniels up at the top of the key. There's a little bit of space here and there, but ultimately Florida Atlantic has gotten back defensively to what they were doing in the first half. Really holding Zakiya Weathersby in check and Margaret Whitley. In the first half, they held both of those star-studded players really to nothing. Here in the second half, they've had different spurts of keeping UAB in the ballgame. Whitley underneath, Weathersby with the contact in the bucket. Gaye, who has already hit 2 3-pointers already. Here's Iggy Allen. Guarded by Whitley. Way from the top of the key, under the 3-point line, but off the glass. Banks that one home, and it's back up to 6.
The bank is open on Wednesday afternoon in Frisco, Texas.
And a foul in the backcourt. Weathersby off of the great feed from Whitley, and this is what you'll see between these two. They've got that connection, Chris.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job here as we go forward in this game. Got off to a somewhat difficult start. FAU had game planned very, very well off of what they've seen from the Blazers this season, but those second half adjustments that Randy Norton was able to institute appeared to be working very, very well. Still trailed by 6, but that could be erased in a big hurry given the hot hands the Blazers have right now.
Couple hot shooters from the outside for UAB. Rosenfeld has been the hustle player so far. Whitley for 3. Number 5 here of the second half, and it's back to a 1-possession game.
What did I say? You feed the hot shooters. And when Whitley is feeling it, that is trouble for any opposition she will face. But then you've got somebody like Iggy Allen, who is not giving up. The fight in her continues.
She is one of the best players in the conference, and for good reason. However, Whitley, Iggy Allen, back and forth we go. It's a battle here in Frisco. Besides La Tech and Marshall, Taylor Pearson on the drive. The buzzer goes off, and she can't get it to fall, and Louisiana Tech will advance to take on Middle Tennessee. 50-48, the final scores. The Lady Texters advance.
You can see the smile through Brooke Storr's mask as Louisiana Tech wins that ball game. They were one of several teams last year on March 12th. It was actually warming up on the floor when they got the call this tournament was canceled. Dreams crushed, and those who came back from that team looking to finish up some business that they were not able to complete last year.
I was on the call for that game. We had just sat down. We're about to go live. We were about 10 minutes from tip-off when that call was made and the tournament was canceled due to COVID-19. Luckily, this one is happening from the Star in Frisco, and we've had some great basketball through the first 2 days. The preliminary round yesterday. Today is first round action. There you see today in 2020, a year ago, Ivy League canceling the conference tournaments, the first conference to fall, and of course the dominoes fell pretty quickly after that in what was a surreal time around collegiate basketball.
That was a day before the Conference USA tournament started last year, and we all came here to the Star to watch practices, to talk to the coaches, and do our preparation for March 11th game. Started getting word coming down and trying to figure out what that meant for Conference USA and the rest of NCAA basketball. And by the time 48 hours had passed, it had all been shut down.
Whitley, top of the arc, another one! The junior can't miss in the second half. She was held scoreless through the first 2 quarters. Now she has 19 since the break.
And that is the 11th three-pointer of the day for the Blazers, topping the 10 they had yesterday.
Florida Atlantic just 1 of 7 from beyond the arc in the second half. Iggy Allen with 23 points. She leads all scorers. Whitley a close second at 19, but now they trade back and forth. The swagger from Allen as she has 26.
Big time swagger, leaving that right hand extended after the make and putting that look on her face like, I'm getting back on defense and we are shutting you guys down.
We have been treated to a 3-point expo here in this second half as this one's knocked away, but it'll stay with the Owls. The Blazers, though the scoring is there, they can't afford to give up buckets on the other end. The defense has to clamp down eventually if they want to really close this gap.
Trading buckets is not an option with under 3 minutes to go.
7 to shoot. They try and feed it to Iggy Allen, and it's knocked away by Weathersby. Whitley calling for it down the floor. No outlet pass at the moment. She'll work her way back up to the key. Watch number 1 in the green.
UAB 4 of 8 from beyond the arc in this quarter.
Down low to Weathersby. Found herself some space. Able to draw the contact from Allen. No foul called, but she does get the bucket. 18 points. And she's called for the foul on the other end of the floor. Now Amber Gaston will head to the, or excuse me, they'll call that on the floor, not on the shot. So no free throws just yet. 2:05 left to play. Winner of this one gets UTEP and the Lady Miners tomorrow. Second seed out of the Western Division in Conference USA. 2:30 Central Time tip-off on ESPN+. Drive in from Iggy Allen. She can do it all. She can shoot, she can drive, but overall she just scores.
UAB has so many things working right now, inside and outside, but Allen is the one willing the Owls to a win here today if they're able to do it. She has taken this all on her back, up to 28 points.
Seeing a lot of college basketball around Conference USA. It's hard to tell if there's been anybody as exciting to watch as Iggy Allen and what she has done today.
It's incredible that Miami Hurricanes never really took
possession rather for UAB. Florida Atlantic can start to put this thing on ice with a bucket here. Allen from about 17 feet off the mark. Weathersby with the rebound, and they're going to call a travel. Iggy Allen slow to get up. She is a difference maker for this Florida Atlantic squad, as we were just talking about.
I believe that was that Pleskovich that she ran into?
I believe it was, and they're going to say she stepped out of bounds. Looks to be okay, was running just fine when she was trying to reel in the baseline. Here's a look at what just happened. Tipped away and didn't get a great look at it because of the teammate on the sideline. Whitley, long 2. That one falls. After being held scoreless in the first half, she has 21 second half points. She just can't.
Thundering her. That miss means their season is over, and you see the tears starting to flow from Pearson after that miss, and they will head back to Huntington.
This one knocked away. UAB comes up with the turnover. The Blazers on the run again. They'll slow things down as we've got under a minute to play. Kyle Yeomans, Chris Mikoski here for ESPN. Plenty to decide. The winner takes on UTEP. UAB down by 11 at one point in the first half. And since then, slowly nickel and dime their way back into this with three-point shooting and finding a bit of real estate on the boards. And now Iggy Allen's going to have to take a couple moments with the training staff. Win over UTSA yesterday. Florida Atlantic looking for their first Conference USA tournament win in program history and their first postseason tournament win since 2012. Drive for Mitchell. She's hit out of bounds, and the ball will go back over to the Owls. She fell off balance. Great defense from Florida Atlantic as Gallerone was over the top. And there was nowhere for Sam Mitchell to dish that ball. Still trying to put the finishing touches. And you see the free throw totals today. They haven't had any struggles from the line thus far. But I just mentioned it over the course of the season, 13th in the conference in terms of free throw percentage. There's Bree back on the inbound. Big possession defensively for UAB, and there's the foul. Caitlin Daniels frustrated. She thought she had all ball.
Now she nearly ripped that one away, and she is tied for the team lead in steals, and none would have been bigger than that one. 18 on the season.
That was the only foul to give for UAB. The next one will put Florida Atlantic at the line, and of course it's Iggy Allen that'll receive the inbound.
FAU's been good from the charity stripe here in the fourth quarter. 10 of 11 free throw shooting overall in this ball game. And Allen, for her part, has been perfect. 7 for 7.
She's really the lone Florida Atlantic offensive threat that gets to the free throw line. This season, 58 of 87 entering tonight. Like you said, 7 of 7. And she is just underneath 70% from the line.
And on the other end, having to deal with blood that needs to be covered and wrapped. Seen that from both athletic trainers.
Coach Norton taking that opportunity to have a couple of words with his freshmen. 2 shots on the way here for Iggy Allen. And the first one makes this a 5-point game.
And the swagger for Iggy Allen. Now 37.4 seconds away from seeing that in the quarterfinal round.
If she plays like this in the tournament, she will be tough to beat in this Florida Atlantic team overall. 6-point lead for the Owls. Weathersby underneath. She is fouled. Now, did they count the bucket or they call it on the floor? No indication they count the bucket.
Delayed reaction.
Huge call.
And Randy Norton and all of the UAB bench players calling for it, and finally our officiating crew giving her the 2, and bit of a continuation, but the Blazers get the benefit of the doubt here with under 30 seconds to go.
And it really is that borderline, that tight line you walk from an official standpoint, and what could be a huge 3-point play to make this a 1-possession game. She misses the back end on the free throws. Under 30 left, and the foul made by Whitley will send Bree back to the free throw stripe.
Yeah, that really would have changed the complexion of the game. You get within 1 possession and potentially you can play a different style of defense. Now the shot clock is turned off, and it's all about whether or not Florida Atlantic can hit free throws. For Beck, this is her 3rd of the day. She's made 1 of 2 so far.
Just a reminder just how tough it is to block out Iggy Allen and Astou Gaye. Those two are the ones fighting for the rebounds for Florida Atlantic. It's Weathersby and Walsh for UAB. Second one on the way for Beck. It's a rebound for Weathersby. And they'll call a timeout. The Blazers will have possession. Down by 5.
Westman, future is bright in Birmingham.
Big possession here. Rosenfeld holding, and there's a foul off the ball. That'll be the 5th team foul for Florida Atlantic, which should send UAB to the free throw stripe. Beck is called for the foul. Second foul to her total as Whitley will head to the stripe. One of the better free throw shooters in the conference. Actually, the best free throw shooter in the conference percentage-wise entering the tournament, 87%. And she'll have a pair to try and pull this back within a total of 4.
And Florida Atlantic potentially playing UTEP. Last year, conference tournament, that was the opening round matchup between the Owls and the Miners, and UTEP won that one 95-67. And you go a year later, and the advancement of both of those programs has been outstanding. I am not expecting anything close to that score tomorrow, but of course UAB still has something to say about that, trying to be the
Florida Atlantic. The Miners were up 36-15 at the end of the first quarter.
I was on that call, and definitely after the first 10 minutes, looked at my partner, Coach Mike Peterson. Ooh, this is going to be a long game. But we should have been more appreciative of it at the time. Little did we know it would be the final day of college basketball in 2020.
69-66, 19.4 left. Even if one of these two goes out for Bree Beck and Florida Atlantic, UAB has plenty of time to have a couple of possessions here. You don't necessarily have to have a 3. You still can't waste any time. 2 big free throws on the way. The first one does rattle home. .4 left. This one rims out. Weathersby with the one-handed rebound and another timeout. So UAB will talk it over, now down by 4, and it's Nicholas.
In that region.
Brings a lot of experience as well. We mentioned the international experience. They certainly have shown that already. Defense up front. Iggy Allen forces a jump ball. It's going to go back to Florida Atlantic. A huge defensive play from the grad senior.
Who else would you expect to be diving on the floor to make a crucial play for her team than Iggy Allen? And with the possession arrow pointing the way of the Owls, that may be something that gets them close to clinching this ball game. Now they will get the ball. They will quickly be fouled, and they'll need to hit some free throws to make sure they can salt this game away.
A huge turnover forced by the Owls, and they could, like you said, put it away here on this possession. Pleskovic comes in. She's fouled off the bench. Another very good free throw shooter in limited time this year for Coach Jaber and company. He's made some adjustments and the necessary ones late in this one to hold off a massive charge from the Blazers. 40 points in the second half for UAB. 43 combined between Weathersby and Whitley. And Pleskovic makes the first, second on the way. That one's true as well. Back up to 6. Now UAB needs a 3. This is the girl to get it. Whitley over the top. Running out of time. Whitley does find an open look. That one's off the mark. It's rebounded by Iggy Allen. And the buzzer goes off. Florida Atlantic has their first Conference USA tournament win in program history. 72-66, the final score.
And Allen caps the game by claiming her 10th defensive rebound of the day. That's 16 total boards, 30 points. Allen easily our player of the game, and the Owls continue to play here in Frisco.
Before we